You probably heard that the fastest way to get a promotion is to work harder than everyone else. Nobody tells you the strategy that got you the promotion is the exact same strategy that will make you fail the promotion. Because working harder is a doer strategy. But time freedom is an architect strategy. Until you swap those engines, you're just driving a very expensive car with a handbrake on. Today I'm going to draw a framework that explains why this happens and how to fix it. I call this a leadership playground, and it's the evolution of your value in a company. Level 1 is known as a transactional leader. You trade in your hours for money. This is safe, it's tangible, and you can go home 5 p.m. and you said, I did this and this and this, like tick the box. Level 3, I call this architect. Or also the transformational leader. A transformational leader is in the room to transform, is in the room to lead. It has nothing to do with you being in the room, it's those you serve. And this is where you want to be if you want to create more impact, if you want to have more time freedom, if you want to control your time. Because the doer who controls his or her time, it's a company. But when you're the architect of the future, the architect of the company, if you are the transformational leader, you are actually in control of your time because you know the top 3 priorities you need to complete every single day. Whereas the doer focus on doing, and oftentimes that's where highly successful people end up because they're people pleasing out of fear of not being good enough, being a troublemaker, and they say yes to way more things and activities than actually they should spend time on, which means that they push the most important task and maybe they never get to pick up those tasks that really was tasked to complete. Another thing you want to know is that when you operate from the architect or the transformational leader position, you operate from a level of mind-heart coherence, which means that you have inner peace. You know your worth. You know why you're in the room. Compared to level 1, where we're doers and have been here, is that we do not feel comfortable in our own skin. We scan the room for signs. Are we good enough? We know when we're an architect, when we're a transformational leader, that we're good enough. We don't worry about upsetting other people because we know they have something to deal with. It's their triggers, it's not your trigger. I would love for you to get up to level 3 because that's not only do you have time freedom, but you also protect your energy, and you are your most important asset. And your energy is the most important thing that gets you to a very productive day. But here's a trap. The middle circle, this is where dual thinkers destroy your nervous system. Dual thinking, do they like me? Do they want me to fail? Did they betray me? What is really going on? The middle circle is where the dual thinking actually destroys your nervous system. This happens when you have the title of being an architect, the title of being a transformational leader, but your nervous system is actually set to being a doer. You're physically sitting in the room as an architect with that title, but your nervous system is screaming for approval. You haven't upgraded your nervous system. You haven't told your nervous system that I actually belong in this room. That is what I want to work with you today, because this dual thinking creates self-sabotage. As a doer, your brain is wired for validation. You have trained your nervous system to trade in your hours for money. But that is not how it works being an architect. You know your worth, you know what you're really good at, and you know why you're in the room. That's why you start to get time freedom when you start to own your worth, when you start to be in control of your, I'm just about jumping, being in control of your calendar, of your time, because you know you cannot waste your time. You know that time is something that you will never get back. So you rather want to lose money than losing time. And what happens as a strategic thinker, as an architect, as a transformational leader, you can sit in the meeting all day long, thinking, planning, coaching, mentoring, with zero physical output to show for it. But that's not what happens when we're in the doer mode, which means that when you have been promoted to a strategic role, to being in the architect, you get to upgrade who you are being. You get to upgrade your nervous system, not so that you don't fall into the trap of the dual thinking, because otherwise that dual thinking will sabotage the promotion that you just got. What I've seen again and again is that when you bring your doer mentality into the architect role, what happens is that you start to feel invisible because something else is required of you. So you may start creating bottlenecks for your team members, and you actually sabotage your own elevation just to feel useful, which means that you end up clocking so much more hours in the doer transactional mode, but really you should spend more time on focusing on solving bigger problems. To become an architect, you have to stop seeking validation from tasks and start finding coherence in the vision. Start owning your worth and start serving other people, because they need you more on the team than they are actually aware of. Here's the 3-step protocol to shift your nervous system. Step 1 is your audit. Now look at your calendar for the last week. Circle all the activities that was transactional, trading time for a task. Now ask yourself, did I do this because it needed to be done, or because doing it made me feel valuable and made me feel safe and seen? Once you noticed how you operated last week, your operating system, step 2 is the pattern. When you feel the urge to jump in and fix something your team is doing, stop. The urge is not leadership. This is your doer brain craving a dopamine hit. Interrupt that pattern. Sit in the discomfort, because you're elevating your nervous system from a doer, and it requires that not only do you elevate your identity, but you also grow and scale your nervous system. And the way to do that is to let your nervous system be your nervous system, is to feel your feelings and spot the narratives that you're telling yourself and let it pass. Set it within 90 seconds. Let the uncomfortable emotion pass through your body and let that toxic narrative leave your body, because it doesn't serve you being a doer when you actually got a promotion to be an architect. Step 3 is recode your value. You need to redefine what it means to be productive. How does a productive day feel like when you're the architect? I've been on this journey, I'm still on this journey because I continue to elevate. I connect with my productivity day, how it feels when I'm my higher self in this architect, transformational leader mindset. And you want to do the same. How does a very successful, productive day look like, feel like when you are an architect? You must teach your nervous system that thinking is working. Now you understand the concept and you know where to do your energy audit, interrupt the patterns, and then code your value. Now you may be thinking, I understand it, but how do I actually rewire my brain to operate like an architect? That's a really good question. You cannot do this transformation alone. Someone has to hold up your mirror where you're sabotaging your own success, where you're defaulting to your previous or past baseline. I run a free workshop where we go deeper into the blueprint for 2026. We are not just talking about theory. We actually work on the mind-brain coherence you need to lead at the next level without burning out. There is a link in the description. Grab your spot for the next free session. Here's the truth. If you do this right, your career will stop being a constant battle for validation and become the platform for your ultimate time freedom.